Streaming to you live, I'm Gordon with Unlock Your Bioenergy. Today is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026, and part 2 of 10 days of heart attacks. I want to talk about it because if you haven't heard already, I am enrolled in the contest with Muscle and Fitness magazine, and I'd appreciate your vote. But the subject I want to talk about, this guy here, 10 days of heart attacks. Dave Pascoe is a 62 years old with the biological age of a 38-year-old. Kind of interesting. You know, you look at him, he got no gray, and he's obviously doing something right. So, let's see what he does. If I can only get to this part here where I can read it. And, of course, I'm gonna monkey around with this. Alright, so Dave went from network security engineer with telomeres of a 68-year-old to top 10 on the Rejuvenation Olympics leaderboard. Olympics. It's kind of an interesting term. Here's how he did it and what you can steal from his approach. In 2008, Dave gets his telomere tests results back. They showed lengths equivalent to a 68-year-old. He thought he was reasonably healthy. The data said otherwise. So he left his high-pressure tech job and became a full-time biohacker. His goal? Reverse aging and prove normal people can do it without spending millions. He reversed 24 years biologically and ranks top 5 to 10 globally for age reversal. Here's how he was able to do so. Number 1, he tracks everything with data. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm kind of a similar character where I'm a stickler for details. And if you paid attention to yesterday's episode, I show the, not that, but this here, where I'm tracking the data. It's kind of interesting. So most people guess Dave measures, as do I. He uses Aura, Whoop, Garmin, 8 Sleep to track sleep, recovery, and performance. I don't know if it's necessary to use all those things. I only use a simple heart rate monitor, but if I win the Muscle and Fitness contest, one of the things I mentioned is I would do is procure a VO2 device to measure what my VO2 is, and to prove to you that what I'm saying is actually legit. Can it conflict with Dave, what he's saying about VO2? Well, let's find out. He says all data feeds into AI for personalized tweaks. He tests blood panels regularly. Oh, really? Stay tuned. I will show you something with regards to blood test, and it will be in this episode. DNA methylation. Telomere length. VO2 max. Interesting. Without data, you're guessing. With data, you optimize. I agree. That's a good statement. Because then you have something that you can measure against what you're changing, or what's changing when you change things, right? Number 2, training focuses on longevity. All he focuses on is P90X circuits spread throughout day as exercise snacks. Most people don't have that kind of time. So you kind of have to stick to it. And in my case, I like to stick to, half an hour or half an hour at least. I think that's good. Sometimes I'm going over because of my lack of diligency, if you want to call it. But when I was in the office and had lunch hour, I was like a sergeant. I didn't miss 1 second. I was counting I was listening to the metronome, as you hear when I said it, at 60 beats per minute, and I was counting my rests. And that's how I did it. And that's being strict. Dave writes here, he does a Carol bike rehit sprints. So 5-minute sessions boosted his VO2 max from 5 to 12%. That's interesting. Kind of similar to what I've been doing the last little while with regards to the 9-minute warm-ups that I'm doing, and I'm tracking the progression, and I'm seeing an increase in my performance percentage of the goal, which is to reach, if you look at this column right here, where you see back on December 20th, I reached 70%, or just under 71% of the goal. And this past weekend, I reached 94. So, does tracking your progress help validate things? It sure does, right? So, one thing he says he does here, Dave, he does daily stretching and mobility. 15-minute floor stretches. I think that's a good thing. I don't particularly do that. Maybe I should. He does balance training to prevent falls in old age. That's an interesting thing, because how many of you know about this test where you take your shoes off, right? How many of you can take your sock off like this, right? Put it down, pick it up, put your sock back on without putting your foot back. Yeah, I'm losing my balance. Put your sock back on, grab your shoe, okay, kind of getting my balance, there we go. Put it back on. Like, that's a test of longevity. So, how many of you can do that? If you can, then you're doing well, especially if you're older than I am, which Dave is probably. I'm currently 49. So, can I prevent myself from falling? Yes. So, Dave doesn't crush himself. And neither do I. It may appear that I'm crushing myself, but I like to test myself. Do I crush myself? No. So, Dave says he's trained consistently since 2008, and good for him. I can't say the same for myself. So, he focuses on strength, endurance, mobility, balance, all covered daily. That's good. I think that's a good thing. And 3, he says, nutrition, whole foods, no processed junk. Well, that's if you're following fitness, that's obviously a given. What you put in here in the gas tank is going to directly affect, how your body performs. Omnivorous and nutrient-dense foods, no calorie counting. I don't count calories. All he changed was real unprocessed foods only, no simple carbs, seed oils or artificial ingredients, high variety to avoid sensitivities. So high variety meaning to keep your digestive system confused. And that's an important thing, because It's one thing to confuse the muscle when you're training it and to strengthen it, much like how Arnold Schwarzenegger did when he was competing in the Mr. Olympia events so many years ago. He always talked about making sure you confuse the muscle so that way it doesn't plateau. And the same rules apply when it comes to dealing with the digestive system. So, and basically the benefits of that is that you don't develop the sensitivities, and that makes sense. So it borders along the same lines. So, but when it comes to sensitivities, is there a sensitivity when you're drinking the cleanest and most absorbable water? No. That's basically that's the fuel for the fire inside the body, and that will never change. So when it comes to sensitivities, I think there's how would you say? There's good to create a little confusion by if I'm drinking this regularly 95% of the time, and if I introduce something that is not as clean, then it keeps your body sharp and maximizing your functionality at the cellular level inside the body. So is it kind of beneficial to keep it confused a little bit, or be able to uh, trigger your body to keep creating a response? And that in a sense is a good thing. So meaning, do I want to drink tap water? No, but I do drink the RO version of the treated water from the John Ellis machine. So that's one way of me confusing the body to prevent any sensitivities. Dave further writes, a sample day for him: post-workout shake, cod liver oil, collagen, MCT oil, and vitamins. Well, my post-workout is usually just water, and I'll have maybe a couple eggs or whatever, but normally, generally speaking, is kind of like a snack of peanut butter. That's with some rye crackers. That's what I like to do. A little bit of hemp hearts, and maybe some honey. So, and I like salt. I like Redmond real salt. That way you get all the minerals and you're supporting your body. I also like to have dates, pitted dates. So, and dates are known to have a strong number of minerals in it. So you have boron, you have potassium, you have magnesium, and so forth. So it's a good source of energy, and it's not a simple sugar. So even though it's sugar, but it's in a form that your body knows how to utilize, and that's a good source of energy. So he also writes here green banana, and he puts cherry or chia berry bowl. So chia seeds is a source of omegas, but when you combine chia seeds with the cleanest and most absorbable water, you should see how the gel forms with chia seeds. And that reminds me to actually demonstrate. I'll take a sample of chia seeds that I have in the house, and I'll mix tap water, same amount. I'll do kind of a little experiment, and I'll mix it with deuterium-free 114 degree bond angle water, and then you will see how quickly it absorbs the water into the chia seeds. That to me is very, very different when you're using tap water compared to 114 degree molecular bond angled water. It's night and day difference. And then for dinner, Dave writes he has salads with ACV/Evo. That's probably like Evo, probably olive oil. So you have the different kinds. So that again, olive oil has very strong therapeutic effects on the body. So, and he says proteins, so veggies and fermented foods. Oh, okay, so cabbage and so forth. That's good. And he takes 120 to 158 supplements daily, personalized via blood work. I'm like, what? Is it really necessary to take that many supplements over and above what's in good salt? Your Redmond or Celtic sea salt? I don't know. Just that one there just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know if it's necessary. And the system costs about $30,000 per year. What? If that's for supplements or food altogether? Because there's no way I would be spending $30,000 on supplements a year. No way. He says recovery is non-negotiable. That's true. So 8 hours of sleep tracked obsessively. Well, I don't track sleep. And I'll tell you, I sleep like a baby. And a lot of that has to do with the choice that I make with regards to this here, because of how it activates the process of photobiomodulation in the body. And it's like I'm playing outside all day. So he says daily recovery, infrared saunas, his favorite biohack. This is my favorite biohack. Cold exposure. Take a cold shower. It's probably better for you, especially if you have in a city where they're treating the water with fluoride. You should be taking a cold shower all the time, so that way your body doesn't absorb, so much of the bad stuff that's in the water. Close your pores down. PEMF mat. Okay. Red NIR light therapy. Well, I get the light therapy with this all day. And then I take it off and I go to bed. And it fits in my lifestyle, and I can take it anywhere with me. So if I go somewhere on a trip, if I'm traveling in business, right? Guess what? You don't have to take a red light with you. You take this. This is so much easier. Right? A little envelope. Like, would you take that as opposed to red light? Yeah. And then you can stay consistent with it. So I'm not a huge... I like convenience and simplicity. And this delivers on that. He stays flexible. Day's philosophy. A single day missing routines won't kill me. True. He trades biohacks for social time. Okay. Prioritizes nature and sun exposure. That is an important thing. So if you can't prioritize nature and sun exposure, then this is a tool that you can use. Simple. And when you live where, like how I do in Alberta, Canada, when the winter solstice is here, December, it's the shortest day of sunlight. And when they're, the lines are in the sky, they're blocking the sun. So is this an alternative for you in the meantime? Yep. And he says consistency over perfection. It's consistency with perfection. Because if he's if he's stickler for data, he's like me. I'm consistent, and I'm also sometimes I'm a perfectionist in a good way. And he says that's how he's been doing it since 2008. What you can learn without doing all that: get blood work done to know your baseline, track your sleep, train for longevity, eat whole foods, 7-hour sleeps, non-negotiable. And you don't need $30,000 per year or 120 supplements. Okay. So that's interesting. Now, I said I wanted to talk about blood work and the importance behind it. So I've got a little presentation here for you. And I'm just going to switch the screens to here. Make sure it shows. Yep. All right. And let's hear it.
So what I'll do is I'll explain to you what I'm going to do briefly. I'm just going to take 1 drop of blood from the finger, just 1 drop, and put it on the slide, and we'll look at it. So let's start by just choosing perhaps this finger down here. Okay, so we're just going to do, it's just going to feel like a little finger prick there. There we go. Beautiful. So just keep that finger like that for me. You okay there?
Good.
Excellent. So just hold that flat for me like that. Beautiful. That's all we need. I'm going to give you that, just apply that over that, put a small amount of pressure on there for me. Awesome. So what we do, we just put a little bit of this, what's known as an immersion oil over, just allows us, it doesn't actually come in contact with the blood, but it allows us just to look at the blood much, much better. I'll just pop this to the side for now and we'll take care of that later. So let's pop this onto the microscope and see what's going on. So we're seeing a formation that's known as a roulet formation. They are sort of like stacked on top of each other. It's almost like a caterpillar sort of. And these, we're starting to see some cells down here, some individual cells down here, but we're seeing these captured on top of here. So what this refers to as a roulet formation, it can indicate when the cells, the surface area of the cells is reduced down quite significantly down here. Often when we see this, it can be a result of, pH imbalance within the body. We should get nice individual cells freely floating around, spherical shapes. And down here, we're getting a lot of sort of accumulation of cells.
To see you drink all that if you could. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, really. Water, most important nutrient.
So
next
what
to
water
oxygen.
is this?
This is the John Ellis water. Okay, go ahead.
So, just before he finished drinking that bottle, I had the same thing here. Exactly the same.
Probably the most water you have drank for a while.
It's gonna take a few
Yeah,
minutes.
do your
Don't worry
best.
about it. Yeah.
See, blood is 94% plus water. Okay. All right, one more sip. Down the hatch. Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Ryan. So there it is. Okay, it's empty, and we poured out as you measure. There you have the John Ellis water. Okay, so we're going to revisit this in 15 minutes in the live blood analysis and see what happens.
So, waiting 15 minutes. And
Okay, so once again, we're just going to take a little
doing a secondary
sample of
blood
the,
test.
for blood from the finger. Just a little pinprick here.
And notice the time on the computer,
Great, that's all I need. And
because that's one of the things that
Great.
validates this test, is the time.
apply a little bit of pressure on there.
And if you can't see the
So this
time,
is
zoom
exciting.
into
Let's
it.
see what's going on. So wow. So do you recall? So there's a significant difference. First of all, there's movement. And do you remember before when we had a lot of accumulation? And again, we can adjust things here with the lighting and stuff. But for just quickly looking at it, we're seeing much. This was like what 15 minutes, I guess, has it been? And first of all, we're seeing movement, which is great. It's supposed to be static. We're seeing cells that are moving. We're starting to see definitely a breakdown. It's not a huge dramatic difference, but it's enough to indicate to us that there's been some changes just within the 15 minutes. That's great.
I think next big question is does drinking water makes it like that, or John Ellis water that made it like that?
Well, normally, typically, drinking water like regular tap water, you wouldn't see this much. You would see changes, but that would some changes, but that would happen over a significant period of time. Not like this was. How much did you consume right now?
500 milliliters.
500 mils. So yeah, I typically haven't seen changes within 15 minutes like this, where we've seen this. So there's definitely, like with the John Ellis water, it's doing something to show that breakdown that's going on down there. But yeah, by drinking water. Generally, different types of water, we would see some changes, but we wouldn't see them this fast happening. So that obviously something about that particular type of water that's making these changes that are a little bit more more dramatic down here. And but to see that much of a change within a relatively short period of time, which is great, you know. Often with my clients, you know, they'll go away and do something, whether it's some sort of detox program or lifestyle change, and they'll come back in a few weeks or perhaps a month's time. And depending on what they've done, we'll see some changes. But to see a change of this within 15 minutes of consuming the water, I mean, that's definitely a great significant start to healing your body.
Now, isn't that interesting? He says it's definitely a great start to healing your body. So this video here is, you can find it posted on this website here, which is johnellis.com, and it's this one right here, this guy. So
so what I'll do is I'll explain to you what I'm going to do briefly.
So giving credit where it's due, and basically showing you that blood quality is important in managing your overall health, and that will never change. Never. And which is why I'm consistently showing you here, when I do the fitness stress testing, this is my way of telling you that, hey, what I'm saying is legitimate. And I'm proving it here live for you to see, and over time as well, because I think it's important, and you should too. And if you think that what I'm sharing with you is of value, then I ask that you support me, or consider buying the machine, make your water yourself, or if you want a sample, I'll make some for you. How can you do that? Well, how can you reach out to me? Well, you can comment below. You can scan the QR code that you see there. You can find the information. You can find my email address if you wish. It's there. That'll take you to, not this website, but the QR code will take you to Unlock Your Bioenergy. And you can scan through the different buttons that I have here on the page. So you'll see there. Okay. If you click here, it'll take you to Start X39, where you can learn about the technology of the X39, which you see me wearing each single day. You click here, it'll take you to this website or this web page, and you can see the different phototherapy options that are available. If you click on the X39, it will take you directly to lifewave.com, which is, I am a brand partner with LifeWave. And if you choose to try the X39, these are the benefits that you're going to experience. So I encourage you to explore it and feel the benefits in much the same way that I am. Am I accelerating the benefits by consuming the cleanest and most absorbable water? I think so. But you can get started by scanning that right there and begin your journey today. Start feeling the benefits. And can you offset the costs of that? You can. If you know 3 to 5 people that would probably be interested in feeling the same benefits as yourself and as I am, then the opportunity to offset those costs are there. So, and if you want to develop the business side of this, being a brand partner, I can help you with that. And I am connected with a large group of people that we all support each other. But most importantly, it's helping those who are seeking it. And that to me is where the true value and purpose of doing something like this is. So with that, today's workout. I've got a new camera view, so are you ready? I am. So I've got the heart rate monitor. I'm going to start with doing a 9-minute warm-up. Yep, there we go. So you can see yesterday I hit a heart rate of 205 beats per minute. So we'll see what happens today. I'll turn the heart rate monitor on. Oh, is it finding it? Let's try that again. All right, there we go. I'm going to set the metronome for what did I do yesterday? 150? I think it was 150. So that's the tempo that I'm going to play. And let's begin. So I've got my rope. I'm just gonna make sure that my shorts don't fall down. I'm doing double unders. There we go. So this is my version of VO2 max increasing, or similar to how Dave does it. He's using a bike. I prefer to use a skip rope because it forces coordination. Between all the limbs. And it enables me to tap into maximum intensity right on the fly. So today's exercises you see on the screen, bottom left. So at the 1 more minute left, and then will be the intensity portion of this warm-up. So double unders and basic bounce or basic step like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 8 double unders, rotating back and forth for the remaining 2.5 minutes. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. I'm going to grab a little bit more water here. There we go. So, today's exercises, as you see, upper chest, medial, lower. Going to do some flies, as well as facing away from the wall and facing towards the wall for tricep extensions. So for today's upper chest fibers, which is going to be the ones that are here on the high, closer to the collarbone, I'm going to be doing a new variation that I haven't done yet. So here we go. So switch back to, come on. Of course it's frozen. Come on, there we go. All right, so I'm going to set the metronome down to 60 beats per minute. So it's going to help with doing the exercise. Today's version, I'm going to do kind of just turn it sideways here so I can see how it looks, or at least my position towards versus the camera. And I'm going to take the Bosu ball today, and what I'm going to do is make like a letter V. So sticking my butt up in the air and then pressing down towards the vibration plate. So taking like this and pressing down like that. That's going to be the exercise for the upper portion of the pectoral muscle. All right. This is kind of the, I might have to increase the height of this. Let's just see. Maybe it's good. Let's begin. So 3 minutes of this here. So can rotate your elbows out from your torso. It certainly feels different. Wow. So by doing a slow negative helps to keep build its strength. Oh, certainly is difficult having this vibration as part of the movement. Wow. Oh. Wow, certainly can feel the difference with this variation today. So for those who are looking to develop that upper chest fibers, this is a good variation that you can do safely because you have control, very strong control over your own body weight. So much the same as if you're doing it this way. Let's say like this, and pressing down. That's basically the same thing. All right. Now the secondary is to do a flat version of the exercise. So just gonna move this out of the way here. Whew. Okay. So let's begin. Oh yeah. So by sticking, in this kind of movement range, I'm getting the beginning of the range of motion or the range of movement. So you stick here, try to stick. Try not to involve the triceps too much. Aha. Whew. Oh yeah. Can really feel the blood entering the muscle when you now I'm squeezing it out by doing this. Whew. All right. Can add more weight. doing a 3-point push-up, moving the knee up to the elbow. Oh. All right. Oh, feels very good. All right, next up, doing the lower chest. So that's where we're going to keep the elbow beside. So pressing, moving the elbow this way to get the lower pectoral. So to do that, I'm going to move the vibration plate closer to the Bosu ball and go down like that. So having my elbows, yeah, you want them bending towards your body. So having palms facing upwards. All right. All right, just gonna move this up a little bit farther away, just marginally. Can reduce the weight. Oh, certainly feels good. I can feel that the activation on the lower pectoral. Doing that slow negative. Oh, wow. Can make this easier by being on your knees like this. Wow, it's very good. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh. Wow. Try to not use the triceps because they get involved. But it's hard. It's hard not to involve them to help with the push. So you could do this without the vibration plate and the ball, or the Bosu ball, by making sure that you are flat on the ground. So basically, if you're doing a push-up on the ground, you're pushing it this way. See if I can do a rep. Yeah. So it's harder to do because your wrists are positioned this way. If they're this way, you know, you can, it's easier on your wrists. Doing this push-up this way is not as feasible for most people, especially if you don't have the flexibility in your wrists. So using the perfect push-up ones, and it's a nice sturdy point where you can push this way out. So keeping those elbows tight. Or you can do a free weight version if you wanted to, by taking free weights, laying down on the ground or on the Bosu ball or on an exercise ball, but you want to have as much range of motion here, like that. You want to be activating the press at the very back here, where your shoulder doesn't have any more, or your bone doesn't have any more. Your elbow can only go so far. That's what I'm trying to say. So next up, TKE flies. So that's where I'm going to continue using the vibration plate. But I'm going to, I was thinking about putting the Bosu ball on here for this exercise, but I changed my mind. So that's where I'm going to take the, I need to move this just ever so slightly. There, I think that's about center. So what I'm going to do is do the TKE version of this like I did similar last week. All right. So that's where I'm taking the elbows and I'm squeezing them together, and the resistance is pulling them apart. So basically what I'm doing is targeting the pectoral fibers near the sternum. So following the fibers, as Jeff would say. So here, so getting the motion. So this is 16 pounds worth of resistance. So I'm holding it. Now focusing on the upper chest fibers, or the upper chest and the sternum. Oh, wow. Alternate them like this. So have a little bit of cross functional, like a sunrise, sunset type motion. Explosive. You can now, one way you can do a TKE version is holding your hands and then squeezing your elbows here and now. So, a pure TKE version of this. Adding with the vibration. So holding it. For this version, I find them quite strong versus not holding the hands. Alright, so that's it for the TKE flies. Now, facing towards the wall. So that's where I'm going to think this is where, there, let's go center. So I have a red band attached to this anchor point and a green one attached to this one. And so this is where I'm going to focus on extending the tricep now through its, this is about 75% of its motion, or the range of motion. Just going to stand back a little bit further. There we go. Okay, so triceps are next. Let's begin. So, focusing primarily on the tricep, moving through the entire range of motion as possible. Well, this is about 75 where there's resistance, and then when we turn away from the wall, that's when we're going to get the tricep when it's in its full stretched position. So here, it's not in its stretched position, but getting the area of movement, the range of motion, strengthening the fibers at that, when the arm is at this stretched position. Can throw in some explosives along with a slow negative. Now, a type 1 type movement with lots of activity or muscle activation, fully stretched or fully contracted. Explosive, another explosive. Slow negative. Keep slow. Now explosive, and another one. And having the bands, you can, like this, you can rotate back and forth between the different movements. Hold it isometrically. You choose how you want to train the muscle with the vibration, and you can achieve the results that you're looking for. The muscle only moves the arm a certain way, and when you move your arm through the range of motion, you can target those muscle fibers to strengthen them. Alright, so now I'm going to switch to a stretched position. So meaning the elbows or the palms start from behind the ears, right? This is stretched, and then moving them through the range of motion. And this will be the final exercise for today. All right. So here, holding it isometrically, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the quads, squeeze your back, stiffen up like a pencil. All right. Oh wow. So holding isometric here. Ah. All right. There we go. So that's it for today. So let's debrief. See. Today's date, January 27, 2026. Starting time was at 2:20 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Today I hit a maximum heart rate of 180. You can see there. So which was during the intensity portion, I really tried to push today, and I didn't have it. I don't think I had it in the tank, so as I did yesterday, more energy, slightly, and I attribute that to basically just having some more carbs over the weekend, so I was able to push the intensity. So I might snack a little bit on some popcorn this evening to have a little bit of extra energy for tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. And I was in that moderate heart rate zone from 163 to 184 for 1 minute and 1 second. So yesterday it was a minute and 5 seconds in the hard zone, which is this heart rate zone, which you can see. So I didn't get in there today in that zone. And Some days it happens, some days it doesn't. So it varies. But I am still as real as a heart attack. And maybe we'll see it tomorrow for leg day, which will be Wacky Wednesday. And if you like this episode, I ask that you support me. You see there the QR code? That is for what I call the X39. Support me with a purchase. Try it for yourself to feel the benefits. As you see on the screen, there they are. So, you don't know till you try it. And when you do, you might be, I would say, pleasantly surprised and pleasantly impressed. So, don't wait. Try it. And I'd like to hear your feedback. Have a good day. See you tomorrow.